Okay, I'm sorry, but that flower crown is corny as hell.
Mom, no one asked you.
You have a beautiful forehead. Please do not cover it. And why do you want to look like the Statue of Liberty in all your wedding pictures?
No, Mom, it's super modern. Bill de Blasio's daughter wears one all the time. Ow, BB, that pin literally went through my skull.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Marnie?
Yes,
Keep
Mom.
it classic, please.
Okay.
I wore shoulder pads to my wedding, and I regret it every time I look at those photos.
More than you regret marrying the sex addict who's also in those photos?
Yeah, because that was fun for a while.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We're just two boys watching HBO's Girls. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Elke.
I am Vance.
And it's the start of Season 5, everybody. We got a banger. Season 5 opening. This is Season 5, Episode 1, overall Episode 43. It is titled Wedding Day. It's directed by Lena Dunham, written by Lena Dunham. The original air date was February 21st, 2016, to an audience of 489,000 people. 0.489 million, which seems low.
Yeah.
Slower than usual.
I think, that is low. Especially for a season premiere, I think.
Yeah.
After what happened.
Before we get into the episode, I just want to say thanks to everybody for listening. Appreciate it for sticking it out with us for 5 seasons. We're going to the end. So thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing and all that stuff and leaving reviews. We also have an Instagram page now. It's BoysWatchingGirlsPodcast. Just look that up and you can follow. We got funny girls memes and stuff going on there. Vance is handling all that stuff, so thanks to Vance for doing that. Give him a shout out. And shall we get into Wedding Day?
Yeah.
I feel like we can't really do a character breakdown here.
I feel like we could jump around to the characters.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be best if we just go in order and just kind of wing it that way.
Yeah.
That way people can get
like
a full feel of the episode and when all these funny moments and weird, shocking moments show up.
Yeah, it seems like the girls are all together all the time. Like there's no separate stories. This is one story and then there's like mini stories inside of it. So I think that we should go chronological and let's get into it. So it's Marnie's wedding day at this giant palatial estate, upstate New York. And Marnie's in her bra and Spanx, and she's worried that it's going to rain. Shoshanna's back from Japan. She's blonde now. She's bragging about how awesome it is in Japan. Hannah's there, being Hannah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's most shocking about this is that Marnie's still getting married to Desi.
Yeah. Where did we leave off last episode? It was
last episode, Desi left her hanging at the gig, and she just went and did it solo.
Yeah, and they don't rectify that at all. Like, there's no like, oh, well, we have this music. They mentioned that they're musicians together still.
Yeah,
but there's no.
Well, this is 6 months later, so we don't see the reconciliation.
Yeah.
I assume that it happens because they're still getting married.
Yep.
Ray's dressing down of Desi doesn't really play into anything that happened. I mean, there's a little mention of it kind of later on, but Marnie's still getting married to Desi.
Yeah. If there's any viewer drop off, it could be because it's like, what? She's still getting married? I ain't watching.
Yeah. You get the season preview trailer and she's like, oh, she's getting married. Oh, this chick's dumb. I'm not gonna pay attention to this. So Hannah's just kind of I don't know. It seems like Marnie's trying to keep it chill, but she's on the brink of bridezillaing because.
Well, I mean, the scene opens with her her staring out the window, saying, "I think it's gonna rain."
Yeah,
and then
Jessa comes in. She's like, "That means good things for your fertility."
Well, Shoshanna's there, and she's like, "Oh, it's not gonna rain. It's the most not gonna rain ever." And then Hannah shows up, and then she's like, "Do you think it's gonna rain?"
Yeah.
know,
Marnie's
and,
like, fuck.
Yeah, and then Jessa comes in and she's like, oh, I just bathed in the stream and ran through a meadow to dry off. Like, she's very bohemian hippie-ish. And then she's like, oh, and rain is a great sign for fertility. As she plays with Marnie's hair.
When Jessa said that she bathed in the stream and ran in the meadow to dry herself, I was like,
I think she said something similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just, my eyes rolled out of my fucking face. I'm blind now because that statement made my eyes roll out of my head. And I'm also ill now because I had such a severe case of douche chills. It was intense, Vance.
Yeah, there's no cure for that either.
No. Yeah, so Hannah's kind of like not having a good time, and then Fran comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Fran, thanks so much for being here. And Marnie gives a side eye to be like, Fran shouldn't be here. Fran apparently was just like waiting in his car for however long.
Yeah.
Weird. Glad that Fran's still in the show. Glad that he and Hannah are still together, I guess. I'm just nervous for where that's going to go.
Well, it seems like they are having an okay relationship, and we'll see what's going to happen with it. But yeah.
Yeah. But Marnie's kind of pissed that Fran is there. She wants it to be just like all girls. So she tells Shoshanna to kick Fran out because she just wants it to be all girls. And
we have to mention that Shoshanna is the bridesmaid.
She's the bride.
She's one of the
maid of honor.
The maid of honor, I think.
Well, all of the girls are bridesmaids.
Yeah, but she's a bridesmaid. But like she's taking
takes her bridesmaid duties seriously.
Yeah, it's weird because there's no mention of the maid of honor being like Hannah necessarily. It's just like a bunch of bridesmaids, which, yeah, that's interesting because it's such a traditional type of wedding. But it's
traditional, but like hippie. Like I could see her not having a maid of honor because Desi convinced her that's like, oh, that's just like blah blah blah, archaic blah blah blah.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Marnie's trying to plan her dream wedding that she just saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her dream wedding that she stole from other people.
Yeah.
Like she's getting influences from all over the place and just like aping the style of people, it seems like.
It was like an Ed Sharp video she mentions, I think.
Yeah. So she tells Shoshanna to kick Fran out. And then Shoshanna's like, okay, I'll kick him out. Then she goes over to kick Fran out. She's like, Fran, you have to leave. I'm sorry, but this is supposed to be all girls. And then Marnie in the back is like, no, Fran. Oh, Shosh, why are you being like this? Fran, you can totally stay. Yeah. And Shoshanna's like, what? You're making me out to be the bad guy here. And it's so douchey and it's so Marnie.
Yeah, I was thinking last episode, because we were talking about who was worse, Marnie or Jessa, like at the end of the season in likability rankings. And then this episode starts with Marnie throwing Shoshanna under the bus so hard.
Yeah, and so fast.
Hard and so fast and so manipulative. I was like, oh man, Marnie, it's hard to like you at this moment. Yeah,
man. And I really thought that Shoshanna was going to turn around and be like, what? You just told me that I needed to kick him out. Yeah. I thought that was going to happen.
Her face said it all, though.
Yeah. So Fran, is it Desi's bros next? Or no, Fran gets kicked out. Yeah. Fran gets kicked out. Hannah's walking with Fran. She's kind of complaining about Marnie being like, she's being such a bridezilla and it sucks over there. And she's getting married to this guy that I barely know. Mm-hmm. And he's like, don't worry about it. It's weird, but whatever. I'll just go hang out with the guys. Mm-hmm. So he goes to hang out with the guys. And here is the groom's party. All right.
Yeah.
It's Desi who's getting married. Mm-hmm. There's a man named Wolfie, who I've never seen before.
Played by the actor's name is Baron Vaughn. He's a comedian and he's in Grace and Frankie.
Yeah, I've heard that name before, and I know that he's a comedian. So it's Wolfie, Elijah, Ray, and Adam. What the fuck? How did Elijah weasel his way into this?
Because they're the guys in the show. And Desi, and they were like, we have to give Desi one friend that's not within the group.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You would think his party would have
doesn't he have like maybe has a brother or something?
Something. But no, it's like, these are the guys on the show. They're all going to be in the party. Like,
I feel like it makes sense. It makes sense that Wolfie's there because like we don't know his relationship. Yeah. It kind of makes sense that Adam is there because they acted in that play together and they're like bros. It, in a fucked up way, kind of makes sense that Ray is there.
Yeah, what they bring
in
up.
a really fucked up, weird way, because Desi sees. I don't know. He and Desi had like a moment together, I guess.
Well, no, he said Marnie wanted him to be there. That's why Ray's there.
Well, that yeah. So that kind of makes sense.
And Elijah's there, I'm sure, because Hannah wanted.
See, but that.
But no, Marnie had like hooked up with Elijah a little bit too. So she had, and she's known Elijah her whole like since college. So
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm not a fan of Elijah's beard. Think it looks real bad. Does not suit his face.
Okay.
I think it makes him look like chubbier or something. Like it makes his face look chubbier.
I like that Desi's got his hair back.
Yeah. So Hannah drops off Fran at the dude house, and Elijah, Wolfie, and Desi are having a meditation circle type thing. Mm-hmm. And Ray's just sitting there like, what the fuck is this? So Fran comes in. Adam pops out from behind the door. And it's an awkward moment between Fran and Adam. And it's played so perfectly. Mm-hmm. They just keep saying like, oh, hey, it's, okay. Yeah, good. Oh, yeah. All right. Like both of them are doing that.
Yeah.
And Ray is staring at both of them. And he's like, do either one of you want to fucking finish his sentence? This is painful. It's like an E.E. Cummings poem.
I loved Ray calling that out.
Yeah.
It was great.
Because I was looking at the closed captions during this scene, and it's just Adam saying good 5 times, Fran saying yeah 5 times, Adam being like, oh, yeah, good. Like, it's so good, and it's so awkward. And Fran's like, I'll leave if this is awkward. And Adam's like, no, it's fine. Yeah. I'm so happy that Ray called it out though.
Yeah.
Because that's the most Ray thing, and it would be painful to watch. Mm-hmm. You know? It's just so awkward. So then Desi comes out of his hibernation meditation hole, and he gives everybody a speech about like why he's happy they're there. He's like, hey, Wolfie, you're my oldest friend. You're like my eagle. You're my Sherpa that's taking me through this weird river of life. So I'm paraphrasing on that. Yeah. Super hard. Adam, he calls him his comrade in arms and comrade in arts. Ray, he was like, it might be a mistake that you're here, but Marnie was really wanting you to be here. So it still might be a mistake, but I'm happy that you're here. I feel happy now that you're here. Yeah. He says, Elijah, your comedic persona is on the level of Lucille Ball, and I'm happy that you're here. And then he looks at Fran, and he's kind of like, and Fran's like, it's Fran. I'm Hannah's boyfriend. He's like, oh, yeah, Fran. He's like, dude, we had a bike ride together. We talked about like really like intimate stuff. Like we've had moments. He's like, yeah. And Desi's like, yeah, I know. Fran. Yeah. I guess I'm glad that you're here too.
He's like, Fran, I love that name. And like Fran's face is like, you asshole.
Yeah. Fran's like, what the fuck, dude?
And at first I thought, I love the look on Fran's face when he like calls out Fran. He's like, and he's like, and he doesn't know his name. But Fran has like this smile on his face, like he's waiting to hear the nice thing he's going to say about him.
Yeah, because Fran is not a part of the groomsmen. He's just been the kind of like daycare, drop him off in there.
It was one thing when I thought, oh, of course I thought the joke was, oh, you don't actually know who Fran is. But apparently they did know who Fran was. He just he just didn't remember him. And like Fran's look is like, oh, everyone gets this cool, nice thing said about him, minus Ray. But even with Ray, he kind of tried to positive it. And so Fran's just sitting there like, yay, what is he going to say about me? And it's like nothing. And he looks so dejected by it.
Yeah. That was pretty fucking great.
Yeah, Jake Lacey's killing that in this show, man.
Yeah, and I mean, even the speech to Ray was kind of great because he's like, I don't know if this is a good idea. I was a little hesitant, but Marnie insisted. But I'm feeling like I'm happy that you're here. And Ray's kind of like, thanks. So then we go back to the girls.
Well, and then quickly Fran offers everyone some beers. People turn it down. Right. Elijah says he's going to do MDMA right before the vows, and Ray, dejected, is like, I'll have one of those beers. You know? Yeah. That's it.
Makes sense. So we go back to the girls. Shoshanna is talking about how she's been living in Japan for 7 months now, and she feels that she's doing everything better in Japan. She's so much better at folding clothes. She's better at using pencils and picking out stuff, and just life is so much better for her. And she's in a good spot, it seems. I can't get over her hair. It looks weird to me.
Well, which is crazy because you watch enough anime. Like, I feel like that you would be like, oh, great, that's the Japanese look. That's what, and Marnie calls it out when the makeup artist is doing her hair. She's like, can you make it less Japanesey? Like,
the makeup artist shows up a little bit after this, and it's a big deal because Marnie saw that she did Sophia Bush's makeup for her sister's wedding or something. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, could you make Shoshanna look a little less Japanesey?
Yeah. And the makeup artist is played by the comedian Bridget Everett.
Okay, I didn't know who she was.
She was on, I feel like she floats in the Amy Schumer circle of comedians. I think she might have been on the Amy Schumer show, and she's been in a bunch of things.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she's been in Broad City and a bunch. Like, she's been all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I assumed that she was like a comedic actress or a comedian, but I just didn't recognize her from anything. But thank you for confirming that.
I tried to do a little bit of our job as podcast informators.
Oh man. Yeah, and then I don't quite remember what happens
is this the scene where because Shoshanna's getting her hair done. It's not the scene where Marnie's getting her hair done, right?
Yeah, because it's like that Marnie's giving the makeup artist like a bit of instructions that are very, very vague. Like, she tries to tell her a vibe that she's looking for.
Oh, she says Selena Gomez. The makeup artist says...
Marnie says that she's like, I'm looking for something that's like Laurel Canyon classic. And then the makeup artist is like, oh, so like Selena Gomez? And Marnie's like, no. Let me try and rephrase this. And I don't remember what she says.
No, what happens is Marnie says, I want it to reflect like Christian white musicians, where we are. And then the makeup artist goes, oh, so like Selena Gomez meets Jesus. And she's like, oh yeah, that's it. Like, that, as if that means anything.
I mean, none of what she was saying meant anything.
Yeah.
When she said Laurel Canyon Classic, I was like, that must have been in the makeup artist's like lookbook, maybe. And then the makeup artist was like, oh, you mean like Selena Gomez? And Marnie's like, no, I'm talking about like modern bohemian, but also reflects my heritage as a white Christian woman.
Wouldn't like she's like, and her heritage is a white woman, and us being guys, wouldn't there be like a makeup person and a hair person? Not just one doing both.
I would feel like that's the case.
Yeah, because we later see Jessa, and she's got like rollers in her hair, but is she doing that herself?
Well, it seems like like everybody else is getting their hair done by the makeup artist BB, and Jessa has rollers in her hair.
Yeah, which But like, I think she has those before she even. We don't even see her interact with the makeup artist at that point. But yeah, whatever.
So there's that little kerfuffle going on there. And then this is where something interesting happens.
Oh yeah, this is where we see Jessa with the curls in her hair.
Yeah.
The curlers.
So Jessa's outside with the curls in her hair, smoking a cigarette, and Adam pops out. And he's like, what the fuck? You look ridiculous. And Jessa's like, fuck off. I don't look ridiculous. Fuck you. And he's like, no, you look pretty crazy. And she's like, whatever. So they start smoking cigarettes together. And basically Jessa's complaining about everybody that's in the bridal party and just being kind of like, oh, Marnie's being a bridezilla, Hannah's being Hannah, and Shoshanna's being more of a cartoon character than ever since she got back from Japan. She's like, well, how's it like over in the dude side? And Adam's like, yeah, it's weird. Fran's over there and it's weird, but he seems nice and polite and blah, blah, blah. They start smoking a cigarette together. Then Adam, out of nowhere, gives Jessa a smooch. And I was like, oh.
Did you see it coming?
I did. They were being really flirty and close to each other.
It was super rom-commy where Adam comes over, and we've seen him for 4 seasons now, and he's never giggled as much as he's done in this scene.
Yes.
Like, he's all, like, laughing and everything. Like, they're having, like, the biggest laugh about her hair and then talking about stuff, and he's like, and I was like,
yeah,
wait, what is this? Like, I just feel like, why can't we see this form happen as opposed to, like, I don't know, this time jump just kind of cut out a lot of the seeing the bond. Like we've seen the bond of Jessa and Adam go back and forth last season, where they were like really bonding. Then he's like, fuck you. And then just like, oh my God, we're bonding again. You know, like it hasn't gotten to a point where we're like, oh, well, they've solidified it. You know?
Yeah.
Like we've seen more of a bond with Fran and
that's what I was just about to say. Like you
Hannah.
you can see the starting of a relationship with Hannah and Fran.
Yeah.
But I don't know where this Adam and Jessa thing came from.
And like, is he kissing because he's like, oh, I just saw Fran and now I'm going to just do it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what his motivation is for kissing her in this moment. Because it wasn't like they were having a deep bonding moment. They were just like small talking about how everybody's an asshole.
It was like every moment they've ever had together that we've seen,
except,
you know?
Except that Adam's more giggly.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, this is rom-com-y. He's got the pre-kiss giggles.
Yeah, so he kisses her, and then she pulls away, and she says, I can't do this. And then they both stare at each other for a couple seconds, and they just start making out hardcore.
Yeah.
And my skin crawled. I wrote down, they make out, and it's gross. Not gross, like, aesthetically, but it made me feel gross.
Yeah. It was weird, because you would think I would have big feelings when it happened, but because I kind of saw it coming, and then it happened, I was like, all right, let's get ready for the possible fallout, but they're really...
It just came out of nowhere for me. Like, I knew that I felt like it was going to happen, but there was no build up. Like, there was no tension built between those two. And I had an inkling that it was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen this quick and this out of nowhere. It's, you know?
Also, this happens mid to early in the episode. So it's not even like it's a big deal. Like, it's just something that happens in the episode. And
yeah, it happens early in the episode and then it doesn't get addressed again.
No. And it's one of those things where normally you would be gloating about having your prediction come true. And now you just kind of don't feel anything.
Yeah, it was just not... There wasn't enough buildup. Like, I didn't get to be like, uh-oh, it's coming. It's coming. Vance, I might be right. I just am like, oh, okay, I guess I was right.
Yeah. And we're like, I don't know where. Like, I did like that they just kiss and Adam just says, and just kind of walks away and they don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But it never shows up again. Like, we barely see Adam again.
Yeah. And I mean, we also kind of barely see Jessa again.
No, Jessa comes
the
back.
End of the episode.
Jessa comes back in strong fashion, though.
Well, yeah, she comes back in a big way at the end of the episode. Yeah. But, yeah. What happens next? This is when Ray and Fran are having a discussion, it seems like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So Ray and Fran are sitting alone in the dude part of the mansion, I guess. And he just looks at Fran and he's like, so I just got to ask you, what are your intentions with Hannah? Because, you know, I really care about her. And I think of her as like a sister to me, and she means a lot to me. And you might not think that, but I hope that your intentions are good. And like, I hope that you're trying to actually get to know her and you're just not trying to blow her back out and beat them cheeks and just fuck her all every way to Sunday or whatever.
These are
and it's very,
basically what he says. Yeah.
It's very obvious that he is, he's projecting some stuff because he's in a weird emotional state because, and he admits this afterwards because Fran looks at him like, Ray, what's your deal, man? He's basically emotional because the woman that he loves is getting married and he doesn't have the courage to pull The Graduate and run away with her. And it's fucking him up. And as he's saying this, Desi runs out and he's like, I can't fucking do this. I can't do it. And Wolfie's like, calm down. Turn this fear into bravery. And he's like, no, I can't. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I can't get married. I'm not a husband. Runs out. Wolfie tells the crew that Desi's been engaged. This is his 8th time and he's never gone through with a wedding. He's always gotten cold feet.
Yeah.
And then Ray runs after him.
The interesting thing here, I loved that Ray says he sees Hannah as like younger sister, which I always thought like Ray seems to have like a fatherly, like, but I guess yeah, they had a nice bond last season when Adam broke up with her, kind of like they had a nice like clearing of the air because they always been a kind of like antagonistic a little bit, but yeah, they seem to come to like a good. Like, for some reason, he's always stuck around Hannah and finds her somewhat intriguing as if, like, Hannah's that person that I would, like, keep around with me, like, just because I'm like, I like studying, like, how you think. You know, like, that person where you're just like, you're so, like, it's just so unique that you just never know what they're going to say. Like,
you can't hang out with them every day.
No,
but, like, once every 2 weeks, you got to check in and be like, hey, how crazy is your life right now? And they always have some kind of drama or story, and you're like, God damn, all right. Yeah. You got me hooked.
There's a friend of mine that is like that, and I just like, I like want to follow her around for like a week and just like see what the day-to-day is. You know, because I only get like those like pieces, and I'm like, how does this person function? Like, you know, like
I feel like I'm that friend to people.
I think people would be like, I feel like you're pretty transparent in like your day-to-day activities, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I think that everybody has that person in their life that they check up on every week or two. It just be like, what kind of crazy shit are you getting into? And there's always a story.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hannah's always a story and some entertainment for Ray, at least. But when Desi storms out, it's kind of funny. And then for them to reveal that I thought this was going to be a really big moment. I thought this, because Ray's talking about not doing The Graduate, which if anyone's not seen that movie, kind of at the end of the wedding, someone stops a wedding. Dustin Hoffman stops a wedding,
and runs away with the bride. Yeah. But the ending of The Graduate is when they run away from the wedding and Dustin Hoffman is with Mrs. Robinson or Miss Robinson.
Well, he's not with Miss Robinson. He's been The Graduate is about a kid sleeping with his eventual girl's mom. Like he's sleeping with the mom and then likes the daughter, and then the daughter's getting married, and it's really well done. It's a great movie.
It's a classic. It's a great movie. Yeah. But yeah, once they run away and they hop on a bus together, they have this look on their face of like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what did we just do?
Oh, yeah.
What now? Yeah. That's the part that Ray doesn't doesn't seem to realize. Like, if he were to pull a, like, I object to this marriage, it's not going to end well, I don't think.
I think it would end well enough that it would prevent Marnie from marrying Desi, regardless of what happened between him and Marnie. Like, this wedding should not happen.
It should not. This wedding is an abomination. Yeah. This relationship is an abomination, and I hate it.
This is why straight people shouldn't be allowed to get married.
Dude, yeah, I don't know why. It's like that Bill Burr joke. That Bill Burr joke of like, I don't know why people are still getting married. It's like, isn't it like 1 out of every 2 go down the shitter? It's like, people, if you were skydiving and you heard that 1 out of 2 parachutes didn't work, you'd be like, yo, fuck that, I'm not going.
And then Bill Burr gets married.
Yep. Bill Burr gets married, of course.
Yep.
So yeah, then Desi, Ray chases after Desi to kind of talk some sense into him. Even though he knows that he wants to have the graduate moment and he wants to be with Marnie. He knows that Marnie wants to be with Desi, so he's going to try and do what he can to make Marnie happy, I guess. Or to convince Desi that he's making the right decision and he should go fuck off.
Well, yeah, it was interesting because I was like, oh, this is going to be great. She's going to end up marrying. I thought the show was just going to have her be like, just marry Ray right there. I thought it was going to be one of those like, well, he's not here, but then Ray stands up and he's like, but I'll marry you right here. And Marnie's like, fuck it. I'm going to get married today. So
that'd be quite a twist.
I just really thought that was going to happen.
There was no part of me that thought that would have happened.
That would have been crazy and kind of awesome. The next episode with Ray married to Marnie would be incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. So he goes and chases after.
That's also not how weddings work, though. You have to get the marriage license.
Yeah, no, you can't just decide on a whim that you're going to get married to somebody else.
That's TV stuff right there.
So then we go to, is this where Marnie and Marnie's mom are having a discussion about Marnie's flower crown, which I agree with the mom. Joe's Fashion Corner for a second. Marnie's trying to argue with her mom to have this flower crown on her head when she gets married, and the mom is like, please do not have that flower crown. That looks so stupid. I had shoulder pads on in my marriage and I regret it every single day. And Marnie's like, you regret it more than marrying a sex addict? And the mom's like, yes, because that was at least fun for a while. The shoulder pads do not look good, and you're going to regret this when you look at your wedding photos years down the line. And then some people are kind of being like, oh, I don't know, the flower crown's not that bad. If Joe Welke was there, I'd be like, take that fucking flower crown off of your head.
I don't think she'd listen to you if she's not listening to her mom.
Well, she hates her mom. She'd probably love me.
Yeah, you would actually be Desi in that situation. She's like, do you want to look like Jesus up there when you're getting married? Which
exactly.
I was like, it was perfect. Like, because it does look bad.
It looks like a crown of thorns.
Yeah.
With like flowers kind of sprinkled all over the place. It looks so dumb. And it's such a tacky Marnie thing to do. And for as much as like Marnie thinks of herself as this fashion forward, socialite, high class person, like that is just incredibly tacky. And
the way she was dressing in the first seasons and stuff, it was like the Ann Taylor collection, you know, like she
was like businesswoman.
And this is what we find out here. She says, oh, I saw this wedding. Like I wanted to shape my wedding after this Ed Sharp video that I've seen. Like she doesn't have original creative, thoughts. Like she's just sees copying something.
Yeah, she sees things and she's like, oh, that seems like me and Desi's vibe. So I want to be pretty much exactly like that.
Yeah.
I think this is when Hannah chimes in and she's like, I don't really like the crown. And Marnie and her mom are just kind of like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And then the makeup artist is like, all right, I'm going to do Hannah's hair because until you guys figure this out. Because she tries to chime in at one point and the mom's like, I'm her mom. We don't need another opinion. So the mom starts bitching. And you see exactly where Marnie gets it.
Yep. Yep. That was a great scene to show this is definitely Marnie's mom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think they do a good job of the parents in this because, like, Hannah's mom is Hannah's mom. We don't see enough of Shoshanna's mom to know fully, but, like, there's that conflict there. And then Jessa and her dad. We do have a whole episode with it, but it's kind of, I don't know. For me, it's like, okay, I guess that's Jessa's dad, but yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see where Jessa gets the tendencies of being like a flaky asshole weirdo type person.
Yeah.
That's quote unquote free spirit, but definitely deeply troubled. So then the BB, the makeup artist, goes over to Hannah and she's like, what should we do with your hair? And Hannah's like, I don't know, just wet a comb and just comb it to the side. I don't know. I have short hair anyway. There's not much you can do with it
now, I think. Yeah. This season.
I think it looks pretty good too. Like,
I think I liked it better last season, but yeah, I mean, I think it's her with shorter hair. It does seem to work for her in general.
Yeah, it suits her.
Yeah.
But when Marnie overhears Hannah with this request, Marnie and Marnie's mom are like, no, you fucking better not just put a wet comb through your hair. There's a lookbook. You need to pick something. You need to do something with your hair. You're not just going to be like looking all fucking crazy and stupid. And Hannah's like, this sucks, and gets out and storms out. There's one part that I think that we forgot to mention, and it might happen just now, but Marnie's mom says, this is my day. My daughter's getting married.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow,
And I was really waiting for Marnie to push back on that, but she kind of just lets it breathe.
Yeah. That was very weird and interesting and telling. And I was like, oh, God, this is deep-rooted
But I
problems.
love the way this scene ends. So Hannah, like, storms off after, like, she gets her hair burnt with the curling iron for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why the hair and makeup person is already starting on the curling iron. They haven't even decided.
I think it's a straightener.
Straightener, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I might have been, whatever. It's one of those things. Whatever she did. I don't know why she's even starting with it because they haven't decided on a look. But anyway, that happens. Hannah storms out. And then Marnie's mom goes, why do you even bother with her? And then they cut to a close up of Marnie and she's like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And it looked like Allison Williams wants to break out, like, laughing when she says it. Like, she doesn't have the fierce intensity on her face, but it's, like, really funny to me. She's like, I'm going to kill you.
She might have cracked, like, but they just cut abruptly. She might have cracked immediately after, but that was just the best take.
Yeah.
But that was really fucking funny, man.
I mean, it was so funny.
I'm going to kill you. So I think next is Desi chasing after, or Ray chasing after Desi, right?
Where are we? No, it's I believe it is sex in the car with Fran.
All right. So Hannah's on top riding Fran's hog. All right, they're fucking in the car.
They just messing up those suit pants.
Yeah, right? God, have some respect. Messing up the suit pants, messing up the dress that Hannah's wearing.
Yeah.
But Fran blows his load.
So elegantly put.
Hannah's been riding his turgid rod.
Where can the listeners find your fanfic?
So after Fran jizzes all over the place, he lets Hannah know. He's like, hey, guess what? I found out a little secret. And Hannah's like, oh, I love secrets. What's the secret? Fran's like, did you know that Desi's been engaged 8 times? He's never gone through with it. And the engagement ring that he gave to Marnie was actually meant for his old girlfriend. And Hannah's like, Clementine? He's like, I knew she had a fruit name.
I love that line.
Yeah. And Hannah's like, oh my God, I gotta tell Marnie this shit. And Fran's like, no, you cannot do that. I told you this in confidence. You cannot do that. And he's like, well, I have to. Then it starts raining. And she's like, well, I guess I can't do it now. But
no, she says she's going to kill herself. I think.
Oh, right.
And then Fran's
can't tell her now because Marnie's going to kill herself.
And Fran's like, Hannah.
I thought that was a great line.
Yeah. What, to kill yourself or the Fran saying
kill
Hannah?
yourself.
I thought Fran actually saying Hannah too was like,
yeah,
chill out, lady. Like,
yeah.
But it is true.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because the first thing I was thinking is like, how are they going to get from the car back to the house without like being completely soaked?
Yeah. I mean, and the panties too, you know what I'm saying?
We got to go back to the beginning because when Marnie's I'm just going to skip right over that. When Marnie's talking about when she's talking about the wedding and it might rain, she says we had the option to get a tent, but we didn't get a tent. Mm-hmm. So like if it rains, like people are just sitting in the rain because it's an outdoor wedding. They don't have an indoor. It doesn't seem like they have an indoor backup venue, and they didn't get a tent. So
you should always get a tent as just like an option. As an option.
Just always get a tent. How much more could the tent be when you're having a wedding like this?
I know. Like, you know what's crazy is it's like it looks that house looks so fancy and so expensive, and then they're getting married and it seems like that wedding could have happened anywhere, you know? Yeah.
Well, I went to a wedding at Crane Manor, I believe it's the ones that those those urinals and stuff, like all those, like there's like what, like I don't like the Crane is like toilets and urinals and stuff and like pub and like places. Like apparently like that person has like tons of money. It's like the Crane Manor. And I went to a wedding.
That makes sense.
It was like massive, and it was like a little bit like this. Like it was all outdoors, but like you have the backdrop of the building and stuff. So, no.
Could you imagine booking that place? Like, where are you getting married? Oh, the house that shit built. You know, the house that piss built.
Everybody pees, man. Everybody pees and poops.
Good Lord.
If you build a building, you got to put toilets in it.
That's very true. Very true, Vance. Yeah. Truer words have never been spoken on this podcast. So anyway, this is where Ray's chasing down Desi. Because it is raining at this point. And Desi's shirtless. Desi's sprinting through the field and he just like jumps into a pond.
Yeah.
Dude, what a fucking dickhead. Desi is the fucking worst, dude.
Yes, I cannot argue that at this point.
Jumps into the pond. Ray is chasing after him and being like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And Desi's like, I don't deserve her. What am I doing? I'll be a terrible husband. And why do you even care, Ray? You still love her. And Ray's like, you're right, I do. But this isn't really about me. I'm here to... And then Ray, in a full suit, jumps in the pond.
That, to me, was the craziest thing I saw. Like, he's wearing his full wedding
What is he going to wear after this?
He walks straight in, and he's up to his neck. It is not like, oh, I rolled up my pants, legs.
Yeah.
And it's not like he couldn't hear you talking to him.
Yes.
From the shore, like from the edge of the pond. So he's in, and they're like right next to each other, and they're just
just talking. Desi's being like, I'm not going to be a good husband. I'm not made for this. I don't deserve her. You were right, Ray. And Ray's like, hey, look, weddings are about love and sacrifice, and you this is a sacrifice that you're making, and you know, you gotta recognize that. Paraphrasing.
And there's something here. And it ends up being about destiny. And it's like, you gotta focus on her, like destiny or whatever, or something like that. And then that kind of like hits Desi, and he goes, oh, like it was your destiny to give her up for me or something like that. Like,
yeah, it was your destiny to give her up and for me to marry her, to make her happy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray. You gave me the courage to get through this. And Ray is kind of like, oh, that's not exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Which made me think, like, was he kind of angling for Desi to not marry her with this speech?
That's what I got too. I was like, oh, so you didn't want him to marry her? So he was wet in the middle of a pond. Just leave him there and the wedding won't happen. Like,
yeah.
What were you going into the water for if not to convince him to get out and to...
Yeah,
like,
I wasn't quite sure what was going on
Like,
here.
I think maybe if... And I don't remember 100% of what he said, but maybe the nuance of what Ray was trying to do, if he was trying to not have Desi marry Marnie, maybe the nuance that he's trying to get is that he wants Desi not to just stand up at the altar, but to like go and talk to her now and stop it, I guess. But even if you stop it at the altar or now, like it's still the same outcome. Like Marnie's going to be devastated. And like,
exactly.
You pile this on the episode right after he abandoned her on that musical set, and I'm like, come on, like how many times can she get abandoned and like call him back, you know?
Also, what I want to know is how much time is there between this moment where Ray and Desi are in the pond and the wedding? Because Ray's suit is going to be drenched. I'm assuming that Desi's wearing the pants that he's going to be wearing during the wedding.
Yep.
Like, what the these people are fucking idiots.
I literally like had that thought, and then at the end we'll get back to it. But you can't dry a suit.
No,
you can't.
You can't get like hair dryers and just blow on it.
Yeah, and it's one thing if it was like a little bit of rain, but this is drenched, and not just drenched with like pure clean water. You're in a pond. It is covered in mud and soot.
Algae.
Yeah.
And Ray is neck deep. Desi's neck deep. Like
Ray's got a white shirt on.
So stupid, dude.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Like
they're worried about rain.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are jumping in bodies of water.
Yeah. The thing that we forgot to mention in the scene before when Hannah's in the car with Fran, she's like, this is like a bad rom-com, you know? It's like a bad rom-com. She keeps saying that. And it makes me think like she's trying to make this a rom-com type episode, but kind of send up some of the tropes, you know?
Because, and she also is confused about how her dress works.
Yeah. But like
which is typical Hannah.
But I mean, that dress is nonsense. All of that stuff is nonsense. But like them... Like this, like the rain coming and like being in the water and like professing love in the rain neck deep. Like all of that's so rom-com-y, and like Adam giggling before he makes out with Jessa is all like rom-com stuff, like a weird meet cute. So I kind of feel like that's the angle they were going for.
I agree. That's a great point. So after Ray's pep talk with Desi and Desi kind of misinterprets what Ray's saying, it seems.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm not sure. So we transition now to Marnie with her wedding dress on, with her makeup done, and she looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yes. Like they started from like behind her and we see her like putting on her, like we don't see her face, so she's facing away from us, and it's like this little mini montage of her like getting fully dressed, and then she turns and looks into the mirror, right, or something.
Yeah, or she like turns towards the camera to walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
First of all, the dress, not a fan of. It's very hippie, very bohemian, like, which is again like her stolen idea of like, this is like a Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros music video that I saw. And it fits that aesthetic, but it's just dumb. It's stupid. And this was my thought. When she turned to the camera and we see her face made up, I thought to myself, is this what she's supposed to look like? Is this good makeup? Because it is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I wrote down too much makeup. That makeup is too much. Because they don't like, it's not like an immediate reaction to the makeup. Like she's returning and breathing like, I'm beautiful for my wedding. Right?
That's what, I was like, is this good? Like, I don't know. I don't know makeup. I know that there's a lot of girls, especially on, social media, that are like makeup influencers and makeup artists. And it is like an art. There is a lot of intense stuff that goes on with these makeup artists to make people look not like themselves. So when I saw her face, I was like, maybe I'm missing something, but that seems like a load of makeup.
Yeah, I mean, the makeup is if you were going out on a Saturday night and getting after it at a club, more or less, or something like that. It's not a beautiful
or like,
wedding.
Yeah, like a model photo shoot that's supposed to be like edgy and really intense. And
yeah.
So she walks down the stairs and then people see her and they're like, wow, that makeup is fucking crazy. And I was like, okay, whew.
Yeah, right.
It's not just me. Yeah. And then BB's kind of like, what are you talking about? She looks beautiful. And then everybody's kind of like, that's a lot of makeup. I mean, you look good, you look good, but that's a lot.
And then Shoshanna comes around and she's like, I think this is a little much on her too. Yeah. Like Shoshanna's got way too much makeup. It still works for her, but it's like still way too much.
And Shoshanna's hair looks awful. She looks like a weird 1940s starlet or something.
Yeah, she looks like a little Marilyn
Monroe. Yeah, I'm so happy that Hannah called it out. She's like, that's a lot of makeup. And Marnie's like, what are you fucking talking about? Get out of here. And then Shoshanna's like, that's a lot of makeup. And that's when the seed is planted. And Marnie like is looking at herself like, what?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Is it a lot?
I don't understand how Marnie, because the makeup artist was saying, oh, with a light dress, you need the makeup to weigh it down.
Yeah.
Which, if you looked at any wedding photos, no one has that makeup, and they all wear white dresses. So it doesn't make any logical sense. Like, I wanted the makeup artist to be good at her job, or be super confused by the notes, but not defend something that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, they just had her character all over the place. Because she could have been confused because she's trying to do two things. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Dude, it was one of those makeup jobs where like the face didn't look like it was on the correct body. Like the color of the face didn't match the color of her skin.
Yeah.
It looked photoshopped, like you took someone else's face and photoshopped it on another person's body.
And why would Marnie think that looked good?
Yeah, Marnie seems to be like a person that's in the know about that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think Marnie is also susceptible to suggestion. So if a professional makeup artist who she was so stoked about because she was like, you did Sophia Bush's stuff. Gotcha. If she's like, this looks good, trust me, Marnie's going to be like, all right, I trust you. And then when everybody's like, yo, you look fucking whack.
True. She's going to have... She was put... The makeup person was... BB was pushing that like wreath on her head.
Yeah.
And it didn't look good either. So yeah.
Yeah, so then BB freaks out after everyone's like, that looks like craziness.
Yeah.
She's like, well, go fucking do it yourself then. She storms out. And then this is where Jessa shows up, right?
No, they go to the bathroom.
Oh, they go to the bathroom, right. Marnie is freaking out. She's crying because her makeup looks crazy and it's raining on her wedding day and she didn't get a tent. Then Hannah comes up to console her or talk her out of her craziness. And Marnie's like, you're just gonna make fun of me or whatever. Hannah
did you think in this scene that Hannah was gonna come in and spill what she just found out?
I did not.
Because she didn't want, because Marnie doesn't want her to come into the bathroom because she's like, I don't want to fight with you. And Hannah's like, I'm not gonna fight with you. And I'm like, ooh, is she gonna say the stuff that
you know what? Vance, that would have made for a more interesting episode.
No, sure. I think the way it was handled was done better.
I think it was a better show of relationships, but if you want drama, if you want intrigue, you want Hannah to come in and spill the beans, baby.
If you want drama and intrigue, you want her to marry Desi.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Like that gives you a whole season.
You know what? I was so heavy on that like drama intrigue, like have Hannah spill the beans, and then when you said that, it immediately reversed my course.
Yeah, you gotta play the long game on this. Because if you want to go through the scene, share my thoughts or whatever. I mean, because basically they come in and Marnie's just freaking out, and she says, Marnie says, Hannah says, I just like haven't been around and talked to you because I like you're marrying this guy I barely know, and she's like, you don't know him because you don't know me. And Hannah's like, I don't even know what that means. I do think Lena Dunham playing Hannah, when she's in these positions where she's just like confused by the other character stuff, I really love her like acting in it. Like, even in the last episode of Home Birth, when she's trying to deal with that situation and she feels like out of place and has no way, and she kind of like crosses her arms and just kind of looks around. It's just like this interesting, like trying to figure something out that has no answer.
Yeah.
I just like the way she plays it. It's
well, I thought that this was a good scene too, because after she says, you don't know me, she's like, you haven't checked in on me in years and you don't know anything that I'm doing. And like, you haven't been a good best friend to me. And Hannah's kind of like, you know what? You're right. And I think that's when the moment when she swallowed the information that Fran gave her. Because she was like, I'm not going to fucking do this.
I think she swallowed it when she says, I think you're just all going to make fun of me and you guys think I'm making a huge mistake. And she's like, Hannah, I've watched you make a ton of mistakes and I've always been by you because that's what friends do, kind of thing. I think that's when it started to hit on her that she couldn't at this moment say the info she needed without it sounding petty and like her just like, because Hannah season 1 is dropping that bomb, you know. And she also asked her like, am I making a mistake, pointedly? And that was the moment where you're like, oh, Hannah could drop it. And instead she says no and gives her that hug.
She's like, I'm fully supportive of you.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like she says. But then she has this smile like, all right, you know, I'm back with my friend at least.
Here's the interesting debate for me. Is Hannah being a good friend in that situation, just going along with Marnie, even though she knows some information that could affect what Marnie is doing? Like, she's letting Marnie potentially walk into a situation that is bad.
Well, Marnie laid it out that being a good friend is just supporting someone through their bad situation. Like, she has framed that as being a good friend. Like, also
in this show,
it's not true.
I don't recall Marnie being a good friend and staying with Hannah during anything.
Yeah, when she was dating Adam, never supported that whatsoever.
Yeah, dude, Marnie's full of shit. Dude. Marnie sucks.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those
glad
things
that she's marrying a douche.
It's just one of those things that sounds good in the scene, you know? Because I wrote down, why is Hannah apologizing for being a jerk today? Like, she apologized like, oh, I've been awful today, and I'm like, yeah, really haven't. Like, maybe, like, Fran probably should have hung around in there for like 2 minutes, but that's fine. And you not getting your short hair done in a weird way by a poor hairdresser, also not that bad. Marnie throwing Shoshanna under the bus like that was awful.
Yeah. This is just solidifying my case as, like, now Jessa has leapfrogged Marnie and Marnie's at the bottom. Yeah. When Mimi Rose is not involved.
I mean, if we were doing episode by episode, sure. Like, I'll stand by my argument for last season's overall likabilities, but Marnie is definitely the bottom. Like, and she wants to be redeemed here, but like, she's so awful to start this episode. Like,
now, I think we both know Marnie's making a huge mistake.
Yeah, I guess. Is she gonna? I mean, her option is to be with Ray, who's much nicer.
Yeah, he's
Ray's much better than Desi.
He's better than Desi. I think outwardly you would think that Desi is nicer because he's like, oh, I'm so spiritual and peaceful, but he's secretly like just the worst. Ray outwardly is very prickly. And even inwardly, he's prickly, but he has really good intentions and he cares about people.
Yeah.
And he cares about the people that are in his life that he likes, and he wants them to be the best. But I just don't see Marnie going for him because he's not like what she thinks of as like, oh, this is a hot guy and like he's so cool, blah blah blah. He's got status or whatever.
He doesn't
Marnie
fit
values.
He doesn't fit the image of the person she thinks she needs to be with.
Yeah.
But she could still find someone that fits that image that's still better than Desi. Like,
absolutely.
Like,
Desi stinks.
Expand the dating pool beyond the friends that you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Marnie and Hannah come downstairs after their heart-to-heart, and Jessa shows up, and she looks at everybody, and she's like, what happened to all of your faces?
Yeah.
And Marnie's like, we overdid it with the makeup. It sucks. And Jessa's like, don't worry about this. I got this covered. And she jumps into, she's a dynamo makeup artist out of nowhere, which, you know, good for her.
You know what I'll say? I really loved like Jessa just coming in and saving the day, and this little montage. Like she's using like a regular dish sponge to get the makeup off Marnie's face, like that green and yellow like sponge, and she's doing everyone's hair and whatever, because it's like it's fun. They could do that, you know. I do have a nitpick of like, where has Jessa been this whole time?
Yes.
Like there's nowhere else to go. Has she been talking to guests?
Who knows?
She hasn't been hanging out with the guys. She hasn't been with Adam.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Break. Like it was raining. Where did she go?
I agree with you.
She does look like she's coming back from a store or something. She does have a bag.
Maybe she had a second bath in the stream. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm the biggest Jessa hater around. I did like that she came back and was like,
absolutely.
I'll fix this.
Yeah.
Because somebody had to fix it. Like, I mean, Marnie's makeup was running because she was crying and like something needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy. I'm glad that Jessa did it.
Yeah.
And then in the end, everybody looked great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was just a nitpick about where she's been this whole time. But it's just
it didn't make any sense where she was.
Matter. Yeah. Yeah, I did like her coming in, saving the day in a weird way. Like, it feels like something that her character would do.
Yes. So then everybody's face is fixed, everybody's hair is fixed, and then we get a walk to where the wedding is taking place. Desi comes out with his bros. He's like, I'm so happy that you guys are here. Let's go do it. And then Marnie and the girls come out, and Hannah has this weird contemplative moment that I didn't know what it was supposed to signify. When she's like standing on the stairs, and Shoshanna turns around and is like, come on, Hannah. And Hannah's like, okay. And then she just keeps walking.
Yeah, I thought she was about to yell. I still thought she was about to yell out some information that she knew. And I was like, I think this episode's almost done, so we probably can't have a full scene. And I'm like, we're not going to see him get married, actually, which I was okay with.
Yeah, so that's basically where the episode ends. Hannah and all the girls are walking to where the wedding is taking place, and roll credits.
Yeah. And I'll say about Hannah not saying the thing, another thing I liked about it is that if she did say it, it would really hurt the Fran and Hannah relationship, you know? But yeah.
Yeah. Also, the song at the end is by a great band, and I recognized it immediately. It's by a great band called Lord Huron. So if you like some folk music, that's a great band to check out. Check that out. I think the song is called Fool for Love. Mm-hmm. It's a banger if you like that type of music. And it totally fit the aesthetic of Marnie's wedding and all that bohemian type of bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I got a recommendation. I ended up watching Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story recently. It's on Netflix now. I don't know when you're listening to this, but it's on Netflix. And I got to say, it's a Judd Apatow written movie. He co-wrote the movie, and it is hilarious. Like I haven't seen it in forever. Watched it again, and it's so absurdly funny. It holds up.
I watched it like 2 or 3 months ago for the first time, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Yesterday, I was singing "Let's Duet" to myself.
Yeah,
That movie fucking rocks.
It's so good. It is
Man.
amazing. So Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Bunch of great casts. A lot of people popping up. So definitely check that out. And I have one other little tidbit I want to say.
Okay.
In one of our past episodes, we talked about, we mentioned like, we see Marnie has a cat, you know? That like little cat that she has at one time that she wants Hannah to see. In the episode where she gets mad at Desi for buying the pedals or whatever.
The guitar pedal.
You could see a cat scratcher on the door. We haven't seen this cat again yet, but it implies that the cat is still in the picture.
Yeah, I guess it's out of the budget, you know? All them kibbles. Yeah. Kibbles and bits.
Yeah.
I want to bring up a little tidbit that we were alerted to, and it's just like, it doesn't really doesn't relate to this episode at all, but just overall girls in general. We were alerted to it by one of our listeners in an email, is that every one of the girls has an alliterative name. Hannah Horvath, Jessa Johansson, Marnie Michaels, and Shoshanna Shapiro. And that's weird. I didn't recognize that until we got that email, and I was like, good call out. That's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, I never really thought of it that way, and I don't think I ever really knew what Jessa's last name was ever either. But they do bring up like Marnie's middle name being Marnie Marie Michaels or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have Shoshanna's parents, whose names are Mel and Mel, like Melanie and Mel. Like, so they like playing around with characters' names in this show.
Yeah. So that was a good call out. Shout out to that person that emailed us. I'm so sorry, I forget your name. But that was
I believe it's Adrian.
Okay, I'll go with you. So thank you, Adrian, for pointing that out. That is a very weird thing that I never thought about until you pointed it out. And then I was like, oh, yeah, that is fucking really bizarre.
Yeah. I don't know the reasoning that they did it, but it's interesting. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So that is the first episode of season 5. We're assuming that Marnie has gotten married to Desi. Any final thoughts on the episode before we give a preview of next week, Vance?
How do you think Adam ends up hooking up with Marnie now?
I don't know.
Is it some weird Desi asks for a threesome and Marnie goes along with it and she's surprised when Adam shows up? I'm grasping at straws here with that prediction.
I don't think it's going to be that.
Okay.
You know what I think it's going to be? I think that Adam is going to sweetly ask her out and like kind of fall for her in a very rom-com-y way.
With Marnie.
No.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're driving at.
I'm thinking about him and Jessa. I think that it's going to happen like a weird, sweet rom-com. Because that scene with him and Jessa at the beginning was so weird and out of character, it seemed, for Adam.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got a lot of walk and talks in our future.
Yeah. I think it's going to happen sweetly. And I don't like it.
I just don't know how. I don't know how he can pivot to Marnie here. That's what I just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
We should start some betting odds for this.
Yeah, betting odds on a show that's already over that everybody knows the ending to. Yeah. Perhaps it'll happen in the next episode, Vance. Episode 2 of season 5 is titled "Good Man." So
that sounds
maybe
that sounds like a Fran episode if I've ever heard of one.
It does sound like a Fran episode. So you know what I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be everyone kind of trashing Fran, and then Lena Dunham's like, fuck you, he's a good man. And then maybe Fran does something heinous at the end. Because that's the way this show has trained me to think men are going to act.
Yeah, or Marnie could be like, Desi's a good man, or something like that.
Yeah, and then Desi does something heinous.
Yeah. Or it's political with Ray, and it's about politics, and he wants to be a good man.
I just predict by the end of the episode, a man is going to do something heinous.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just throwing out everything.
Yeah.
You know what I thought was interesting about all this stuff is that, like, back when the show aired, like, no one knew the titles of shows when they came on.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, the episode would just air. You watch it. You wouldn't know what the title of.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No one knew the title of sitcoms.
Vance with the fucking good points, man. I can't get enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll have some new good points for us all next week. So thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned next week for our episode on Good Man. Later.
Hey, man.
Hey.
I'm just... nothing doing, but...
Oh, good.
Look, if you need me to... I can just...
No.
I didn't just...
No, I figure with the...
Yeah, but it's...
Yeah.
Why don't you guys try a few complete sentences? This conversation sounds like a fucking E. Cummings poem.